Hello, friends. Happy day 3 of our 6-part series on Immune Support 101. Yesterday we talked about vitamin C, and now we're moving on to vitamin E. So here we go. All right, so there are two families of vitamin E. And one of them is called tocopherols. And if you're looking on a label, you might want to look for something called mixed tocopherols. Just means it's a mixture. It's not just one of the types. And then there's tocotrienols. And noting that selenium is a cofactor for vitamin E is just important to note. And we'll talk about selenium. It's one of our things that's on deck for what we're talking about here in the Immune Support 101. And E, vitamin E, along with A, D, and K are all fat-soluble vitamins. So your body does store some, and we get it often. It's accompanied sometimes within fat foods, where we want to eat it with some, along with some fat, in order for a proper absorption. Okay, let's get into why we need it. And we're going to specifically talk about the tocopherols right now. The D-alpha form is the main form that you'll find in the body, and it is an antioxidant. It is anti-inflammatory. It prevents LDL oxidation. LDL would be low-density lipoprotein, one of the forms of cholesterol, and prevents oxidation of that. And oxidation is that free radical damage that we talked about in the meat hierarchy post about a week ago, maybe a week and a half. It also inhibits blood clotting, so getting that vitamin E is great for that heart health. The gamma form of the tocopherol is also important for heart health. It inhibits nitric oxide derived free radicals, again that oxidative damage. It's also anti-cancer. Vitamin E protects the cell membranes. This is one of the biggest things that it does. It protects the fats in the cell membranes, and if you think of the phospholipid bilayer, which is the outside of every cell and every cell in your body, it has lipids. Lipids are fats, and so it's protective of those fats in that phospholipid bilayer. It helps protect them from free radical damage. Did you guess it? It also helps to protect the blood vessels from free radical damage, and it functions to protect nerve cells as well. It helps to recharge selenium, so again, they work in tandem together. It stabilizes blood fats. It regulates clotting and prevents excessive clotting. It improves the heart and cell respiration with less oxygen. So it allows your heart and your cells to work better and not need quite as much oxygen. This is important to know that when we consume, we call them PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Again, go back to that fat post a couple weeks ago, the fat showdown. When you consume those, it can lead, or if you have a lot of oxidative stress in your body, which PUFAs, a lot of them, this is tricky, but in general, the ones we find in our modern diet, the seed oils, not like an omega-3 or an omega-6 from fish or some from grass-fed beef or something like that. This is more of the stuff that we're getting a lot of in our modern diet. That's going to lead to a greater need for vitamin E. So make sure if you are consuming a lot of polyunsaturated fatty acids that you are getting your vitamin E in there too. And where it's found, I'm going to talk about that later. There's a good news little tidbit there. It's good for skin health, arterial health, epithelium health, good for lung health, diabetes, helps with menstrual cramps, hot flashes as well. And here's the one why we're here this week, immune support. It protects against viral infections. So make sure you get that vitamin E in as we get into cold and flu season. It also helps with autoimmune conditions. And to note, oral contraceptives often deplete a lot of things. B vitamins are one of them, but also it depletes vitamin E as well. So if you are taking oral contraceptives, you might want to make sure you eat more vitamin E rich foods. It also helps with preventing or mitigating fibrocystic breast disease, burns, and it can help protect against strokes. Okay, here's where to get it, and just as in the previous days, this list is generally highest concentration to lowest concentration, so start with the things on top first, or the first things I say first. Sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach. Some things like make some sense to me, like the fatty nuts and things like that, but the spinach, I'm like, Peaches, prunes, tomatoes, cabbage, asparagus, avocado, broccoli, beef, olives and olive oil, turkey also. Now a note about those nuts and seeds. Caution here if you're going to use a nut or a seed oil like flaxseed oil or even flax. These oils go rancid very quickly, and so we want them to be, you want to look for things like unrefined, cold pressed, so they're not using heat in the processing. Again, go back to that fat one. Or that they're stored in dark or opaque containers. That will help to make sure that those have not been damaged by the time they get to you. And just a couple more things to note. If you are choosing a supplement, you're going to want to look for that word, again, mixed tocopherols. You want to see that so that it's a mixture of them. And that, I mentioned the D-alpha form. You want to make sure that any form that's listed on there is a D form and not an L form like L-alpha, because the D form is usable for the body, L is not. And the last thing I'm going to mention is that I talked about the greater the consumptions of polyunsaturated fatty acids, the greater the need for vitamin D. And in a real foods-based diet, you're getting them together actually. So if you think of those, sunflower seeds are going to have some, or olives are going to have some unsaturated fatty acids, but they're also going to have vitamin E. So it's kind of in that balance. It's synergistically packaged in this perfect little package. All right, so stay tuned for tomorrow. We're going to be moving on to selenium. All right, have a great day, friends.